what I also discovered is you get something called pyramid power, which I'm sure you and your viewers must know of, where if a pyramid is aligned with true north on the earth, it actually creates an energy field within it. What's interesting about the energy vortices is that they're coming out the ground, but it's not just steam coming out your kettle, for instance. It's actually magnetized air because it forms part of the Earth's polarity. On the property, we designed a moon gate that we discovered in mystical times was actually a portal to another dimension. So it seemed the perfect entrance to the labyrinth because the labyrinth takes you on an inward journey.
The ancients were very close and connected to their environment. They lived in harmony with their environment, and their lifestyle almost reflected this. And in today's world, we're so disconnected from nature and our environment and each other and ourselves. So, to cover this topic, I've got Donovan from Soul Oasis to help us bring us back to connection with each other and ourselves and nature. Donovan, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Deepak. It really is an honor to be on this show. And I know you've followed our journey for quite a while now. So yeah, I think you understand a bit that's coming.
Donovan, how did you get into Soul Oasis and this journey to help people connect with the universe?
So the journey kind of happened gradually. I've been looking back at it for the past couple of weeks to actually almost try and see where it started, and it's often very difficult because you almost get given puzzle pieces as you go along. So it's not a case of, oh, we knew exactly what was going to come when we moved here or when we started developing. We actually had no idea. So what has happened is I've gone and done research over things that I've done in the design of Soul Oasis as an urban retreat. And I've been absolutely dumbfounded with what I've discovered because I've been a landscape architect for 25 years or more. And in that career or in my studies with a bachelor degree, nobody ever taught me how to design with energy. They didn't even tell me what energy was or the need of it. So I think with the ancient Egyptians and with those civilizations at the beginning of the era, we look on and we see the precision of the pyramids, for instance. And we think, wow, they were really good at pyramids. But we don't actually realize that their entire lifestyle followed that same precision. Yeah, so basically that precision was carried out into their entire lifestyle. So what I've discovered, basically, it's an ancient science, but it's a quality science, which makes it very different because science is usually a quantity science. So the science of biogeometry was actually carried out in ancient Egypt, and that is the manipulation of the subtle energy that you find in a place. So that is really what my mind going because we can literally manipulate it in such a way that we can get the visitor to feel better just by being in the space. They don't even need to do anything.
Donovan, you've touched on so many interesting facets. I mean, the ancient Egyptians and the pyramids, I've been fascinated with them for a long time. And you speak about the design of these ancient buildings. And there's a lot of, I don't know, it's like magic in them, symmetry. It's like so precise and perfect. I mean, the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, I know you have the speed of light in there. You have the distance to the
Pyramid power.
sun, the circumference of the earth, the weight of the earth. I mean, everything is built into the design of this structure. So they were very attuned with the cosmic energy mathematics, I guess, and they use that in the design of the structure. Is that what you're talking about when you talk about the design of your space?
Yeah, basically, yes. So what I discovered when I started researching, because the idea for Solar Aces happened gradually, and I actually think it happened as we as humans were actually able to cope with it inwardly, because we did a lot of things that I think we did naturally without even knowing we were doing them. And in doing that, we actually aided the development of energy vortices and things like that on our property, which to me is phenomenal because it allows us to actually co-create and to allow us to actually play around with this because we're almost an experimental form of energy if you think about it. because it was such an unknown topic to me. What I also discovered is you get something called pyramid power, which I'm sure you and your viewers must know of, where if a pyramid is aligned with true north on the Earth, it actually creates an energy field within it. And it's all part of the Earth's energy and part of what we've been given as part of this amazing universe.
Wow. So tell me about the ley lines. These are energy lines that run under the earth. They sort of emit some energy. We can measure it. And I know the great structures around the world are built on ley lines. I mean, the Great Pyramids are on a big ley line intersection. And you mentioned that Solar Oasis also has some connection with the ley lines. You're on a ley line or something like that?
Yes, apparently. Now, I must just explain that all of this was very new to me. I feel as if we went on this journey and the journey just developed around us. So, to start at the beginning, if I may, we were approached just after Mother's Day 4 years ago by a clairsentient person who had brought his family to Solar Oasis for a Mother's Day picnic. And he said to me, "What would you do if I told you there were energy vortices on your property?" So I literally said, I think I would kiss you. Because obviously I'd done quite a bit of research on, especially Sedona in America. It's very well known for its vortices. And people actually fly from around the world to go and meditate on these. So when this chap came along and started telling me about this occurring on my property, it felt like an absolute gift from the universe. So every place that he pointed out where there was an energy vortex, I went and I checked it with my pendulum, and without fail, every single time the pendulum swung wildly above the area he had pointed out. And I've actually uncovered a bunch more since then. So, going back to that energy flow, it is so subtle that we're not aware of it. What's interesting about the energy vortices is that they're coming out the ground, but it's not just steam coming out your kettle, for instance. It's actually magnetized air because it forms part of the Earth's polarity from north to south. So you get these minuscule microscopic magnetite crystals within this channel of air that goes up into the stratosphere. So it's magnetic because it's part of the Earth's polarity. What's really, really interesting is that within our inner ears, we have got biomagnetite, which is actually magnetite that our bodies create, and they are in order to help us align with the compass points north, south, east, west, so that we've got a general idea of where we are on the in the world. And all of these magnetic thoughts actually come from our minds as well as our heart. Believe it, our heart actually gives off 10,000 more times magnet vibrations than what our brain does. So the correlation between heart and mind and and brain is extremely important as well to think about. So, to put it in a nutshell, you get something called Schumann's resonance, which they call the heartbeat of Earth, which I think is at about 7.83 hertz. So, what we've discovered is that the energy coming out of these vortices are part of Schumann's resonance. So, it goes through fluctuations which are natural on the Earth, and you can actually follow them on Schumann's resistance channels and that on YouTube. So now we've got this energy coming out of Earth. We then go and meditate on one of these vortices. And what it does is it actually aligns our biomagnetite crystals in our inner ears with that of the Earth. So we literally are programming ourselves to get back into that heartbeat of Earth. Their clinical studies and their amazing things where in Sedona, they literally, for the last 10 years, have been testing this. They put all those little microdes on people's brains, those cap things that they put on, and they go and meditate over it. And it's showed that it creates brain activity that creates a far more deeper connection to whatever higher power or universal power that you believe in.
This is so cool because Schumann resonance is something that I stumbled across, while I was researching quantum healing and quantum frequencies, and I came across pulsed electrical magnetic field therapy or something, and it talks about Schumann resonance because the Schumann resonance is this electromagnetic pulse that the Earth gives off, and you said like a hertz of 7.3 or something like that. Um, yeah, so it's this pulse, and you can actually measure it, and scientists and researchers have measured it. It's this huge pulse that it's like a beat, like poof, and the Earth sends off this huge electromagnetic pulse. And to connect with that is what you're saying, your um, urban retreat is able to do. People are able to get flushed with the Schumann resonance magnetic charged air and help balance them back into the right rhythm, right? Because I guess we're supposed to be in the Schumann resonance rhythm, being from Earth. We are on planet Earth. We are made from Earth. Everything from us, everything we have is come from the Earth. So it makes sense that we should be aligned with Earth's rhythm and heartbeat, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, even the simple things such as trying to wear shoes as little as possible. We walk around barefoot just about all the time. So what has been interesting is as more people have started coming here, and more like wise people, I could almost say, they've started agreeing and they've started actually approving what was told to us. So, for instance, we had a chap arrive here a few days ago, and he literally said that he could feel the energy of the vortices in different chakras. So this blows my mind because this literally shows that you can almost go and be healed at different vortices and they will create different effects. I'm still getting to the point where I'd like to get the scientific equipment together to measure these. But something very interesting the other day, they had what we call a peak in Schumann's resonance. And around there, we were walking around with a little electrometer. And we went and we actually hung the two cords within the vortex in the middle of the labyrinth. And it actually gave us an electric reading. It was phenomenal.
Wow. I would love to come and test this out with you, and we even maybe try get some footage so we can show our
Absolutely.
viewers. This is fascinating stuff. So
Absolutely.
tell me about the labyrinth, because I remember the last time I came there, you have this labyrinth thing that
That's
people can walk through. So explain that, the history of the labyrinth, and
okay.
what do you think it really does for people?
Right, so basically, labyrinths have been around for over 3,500 years, and there's actually one of the oldest remaining ones is in the Chartres Cathedral in France. Totally magnificent. I uncovered labyrinths. I was approached as a landscape architect by a client about 12 or 15 years ago or longer in order to build a labyrinth in their garden for her and her wife to get married in. So this opened up the world of labyrinths to me. So in the Chartres Cathedral, we have one of the oldest remaining labyrinths on Earth. And in my research of this, I now started realizing that labyrinths were used as a meditation tool. So it's not like a maze. I always say you go into a maze to lose yourself, but you go into a labyrinth to find yourself. So the difference between that is mazes try and trick you. They try and actually lead you into dead ends and they try to get you lost. Whereas a maze, you can trust the path. There's only one path that wraps its way around. In the labyrinth, you can trust the path. There's only one path. There's only one in and one out. So you follow the path and it wraps around the whole space to the center with the concept that while you're walking in, you're either just giving gratitude, saying thank you, thank you, thank you over because that raises your vibe, or you literally are discussing or thinking about any issues or concerns or worries that you are currently dealing with. You think this through, and then by the time you get to the middle of the labyrinth, it's your time to shut up and listen. So you sit there for as long as it takes for you to receive your answers that you're looking for. And I must just, I've tested this and I've tried this a few times, and you literally get answers. And I don't just mean superficial, like out there answers. You literally, at one point, I was designing the center feature of the property that's going to become a dam, and we got sorry about that. We got to the point where I literally didn't know how to go further because it's quite an intricate structure. And I went and I sat in the labyrinth and I waited and I got that answer. I literally worked out how to design the dam. So it's practical answers that you can even get if you're just in that flow. And then on your way out, you're walking your answers back into your life. So you follow the same route out. And then when you get to the exit of the labyrinth, you basically can continue. What I find really interesting about our labyrinth is we opened up in November, I think 5 years ago. Since then, over 2,500 people have walked the labyrinth. And if you consider the energies and stuff that they are bringing, they all are bringing a natural energy searching for a deeper meaning. What amazed me is that we've got a vortex that is formed in the center of the labyrinth. Now, I didn't design any of this knowing that this was there. So it obviously set my designer's mind a little bit crazy because was the property designing me or was I designing the property? Um, what I discovered in my research is that vortices can actually be created. So what's amazing is our geological formation is we've got high quartzite with with iron oxide. It's iron oxide that forms as part of our geological formation. So with the combination of quartz plus the iron oxide, I'm not quite sure how it all works, but I've researched this, and our geology is basically similar to that, where the vortices have formed in Sedona. And Sedona is also known as an extremely deep, powerful space where for centuries people have actually been traveling there as part of their tribes and that in order to go and give thanks to their gods.
That is so cool. So people can really connect with high power energy from the earth at Soul Oasis. So it's not just an urban retreat, because I thought it was just a place that corporates can do a workshop and come out for an afternoon, do some team building, or for people to come and do a labyrinth walk. It's actually much more deeper than that. You're actually at a power center of the earth, and people can come and recharge at this earth's power source, almost sort of thing. The earth is like just giving out this huge magnetic energy at this place, and you can go and recharge. Is it all year round, or does it fluctuate throughout the year? Does it have different cycles?
We have found that it does fluctuate. I don't think the cycles have got much to do about the actual time of year or anything like that seasonally. I think the structures basically, obviously, or the Schumann's resonance is known to peak before you get large lightning storms, for instance. And what's really quite scary is they found such. Literally, the Schumann's resonance peaked like never before a couple of months ago, and they realized that it was actually the war in Ukraine that was causing the spike in the Schumann resonance. So now, if you understand our connection to Earth and that we actually are all one, it stands to reason that a war in the Ukraine would actually affect the universe or our universe. But what's scary is that pushing that up into our energy field as a planet, we are all being affected by it. So we might think, oh, the war is in Russia and
Yeah.
Ukraine, it doesn't influence
You've
us.
got a couple of other interesting. Yeah, you've got a few other interesting features, on the Solar Aces property. I remember a moon gate, and you've got
Correct.
some big tower. Maybe explain those and those
Absolutely.
significance from historical times and how they help in today's time.
Absolutely. So as we were continuing, I mentioned that I feel sometimes as if Solar Aces has designed me, because as I understood slightly more of where we were going, I started getting an actual deeper understanding as to what our purpose is. So what I've now realized is that we're actually here in order to raise people's vibes on a corporate level, on a personal level. So if you start looking at vibration, frequency, and energy, which Nikola Tesla said is the basic language of the universe, you'll understand the universe if you understand those. I've started understanding that energy is actually the currency of the universe. So we are dealing with our energy all the time. And what I've picked up on is that by doing certain um, exercises or just fun things to do. We literally create a group of 6 people. So you come along with the 5 people that you are closest to because they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So, what our philosophy is that if you can come as a group of 6 and you do our adventure course through our landscape gardens, you literally will do 40 things that teach you how to raise your vibration. So you can go away as a group being aware of how you affect each other's energy and how you as a group can actually increase your vibration and thereby increase your frequency as a human.
This sounds like the best thing for team building, so teams can really understand each other and their energy and the
Absolutely.
relationship between the energy of each other and how the how they all affect each other. This is really fascinating stuff. I hope people can appreciate it. Guys, I am going to leave details below to Soul Oasis and to Donovan. You can get his contact details, their Facebook page, their website. It's all going to be down below the video description, so you can go check it out. Go contact him if you need more information. So Donovan, I understand that the buildings that you're building, they've got very special designs. Are there any like cool secrets you can share with us without giving away too much of your intellectual?
I'm still learning as I go, which is what is so phenomenal. And what I'm understanding is that in this era, we need to actually start designing things in such a way that the architecture helps the person that is using it. So, for instance, if you take a look at the pyramids, which we always go back to as one of the finest constructions, and we can't actually almost get to that precision in our current day and age. But what I've done is I've taken all your different energy sources, which I studied in metaphysics. So what I also did is when we formed the labyrinth, we by chance had a wheelbarrow full of rose quartz. And I said to the builders, take the rose quartz and put it into all the foundations of the labyrinth. I didn't know what it would do. I started getting people arriving here months later when we were open, asking me, well, how did you do the labyrinth? What did you do to get the labyrinth like it is? And I totally misunderstood then. I'm like, well, we first of all filled it up. We had to build the retaining walls. We put in each stone ourselves. They said, no, no, no. How did you get the energy of the labyrinth like that? And I had no idea. Eventually, I thought, okay, well, maybe the quartz crystals could have an effect, the rose quartz. So I mentioned this, and I was told that definitely does have an effect. So by using metaphysical elements that I've now started designing with, we can bring in those energy forces that really do affect people. I've On the property, we designed a moon gate that we discovered in mystical times was actually a portal to another dimension. So it seemed the perfect entrance to the labyrinth because the labyrinth takes you on an inward journey. So you go in through the labyrinth and through the moon gate, and we basically set up the scene so that it is a very personal journey because you don't actually want to distract people or have fun things for them to see. You want them to go inward. So the walk inward, the walk towards the center of the labyrinth becomes a very beautiful walk, and every single walk is different. I always say no man can walk the same labyrinth twice because the labyrinth has changed and so is the man. So each walk is different. And I admit it, over the last 6 or 7 years since I've been walking, at the moment I'm trying to walk at least 3 or 5 times a week because it literally keeps you grounded and it keeps you sane. So it gives you that time that you need to just form your thoughts properly, to understand what your goals are or what your present circumstances are, and to actually help you formulate the best approach, not just by getting information from other people around you, but by actually going inward and by going to your own intuition that gives you the answers that you're actually looking for.
Wow. So this is another one of those features that you have on the property. It sounds like it's got a whole plethora of different activities and features and designs to help people get back to connection with themselves and with nature. And this is really profound in this day and age. I really do hope that a lot of corporates and a lot of groups come and partake in this offering. It's just outside Pretoria or just outside Joburg, and a beautiful property to bring you back to yourself. Donovan, we really appreciate your time and sharing such amazing information and knowledge. And
Thank
we
you.
look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Absolutely. It might be fun for you to come and do a recording out here sometime with us walking the labyrinth together or something.
Yeah, we're going to think of some ideas and let's see what we can put
Awesome.
together.
Thanks so much and keep up your good work as well. You're doing amazing things.